Hey everyone, I just wanted to announce my July 4th promotion that I'll be running on the online shop from now until the end of July 7th, 2024, which is this Sunday. During this time, I'll be running a buy two get one free on all leader cards using the promo code July4. So I have a lot of custom cards available with more to drop this weekend, so make sure to check it out and take advantage of this limited promotion. Thanks guys. Hey everyone, so the first match I played was against the black-yellow Luffy. At this point, I had won the die roll, and I had chosen to go second. And so, yeah, we are just doing our mulligans and getting our hand set up. And I believe I wanted to go second because I didn't want him to have his 10-don turn where he can attach 2 to Luffy and then play his Gecko Moria out. And my strategy this game is I want to just establish my board, not swing into his life, make him spend his own resources to take his life, and I want to establish a 9-cost Zoro in this match because once he's on the field, I feel like it's too much pressure for Black Yellow Luffy to handle unless he has some sort of big removal like Ice Age. And so, yeah, that's kind of my game plan right now. I'm going to most likely not swing into him and just keep setting up my board so that we can, we can just set up the fortress and just go for game. So it's the second Bonney search. I take the Basil Hawkins. Really great card. It can't get hit by a removal. The removal, at least in the Black Yellow Luffy deck. And so, yeah, I think I played another Bonney searcher out. I started with 2 in hand. I searched the first Bonney searcher with my first searcher, and then, yeah, ended up with 3. So there I picked up the Kid, just to set up for the fortress. I'm trying to remember throughout this game, but yeah, so far we're in a good spot. He swings a leader, a leader at counter. He hard plays a Sabo, and he's cycling out, I believe that was the Egghead Luffy, and couldn't really see the other card, but here I hard play the Cavendish. I'm able to recycle 2 Dawn. I use 1 to do a Bonney search, grab another 2K, and then here I'm swinging 6 into, I believe, the Garp. Yep, and then just to clear his board out, and I'll pass the turn over to him with 1 Dawn remaining. With that 1 Dawn, I do plan on probably resting the Sabo, just so I have another target to swing into without swinging into his life. And so my opponent's thinking now. He attaches 2 to Luffy. I think he swings 7 into my Bonney searcher. I rest the Sabo. He plays the 5-drop Luffy that can take his own life, and then he passes over to me. So here I'm feeling pretty good. He's already playing out a few of his bodies and trying to take his own life. I do play the Kid. 8 on turn. I play the Kid. Since I have the Cavendish out, I'll swing 6 at the Sabo and unrest 2 Dawn. He lets the Sabo go. I end up attaching 1 Dawn to Kid, and then I'll rest him to play out a Bartolomeo. And then I believe I just pass over to him. He's still at 3 life. He's forced to still take his own life if he wants to get down to 0. My board is now starting to get set up in the way I want it to be. And so he will take his own life with the Luffy effect again. So that's 2 he's taken so far from that. And then he rests 1 to do a search. The search event. And I believe he whiffs. And it's very surprising in this deck to whiff. But it does happen at times. And so now my opponent's thinking. He rests 5. He plays the Egghead, and he chooses to KO the Bartolomeo, and he's just going to start swinging really big into my Kid. I do want the Kid alive, so I do rest his leader, and here I'm pitching the 0-cost event and another 1K to make the Kid 12K power and survive that 11K swing. And so I did have to sacrifice some defensive capabilities, but at this point I feel very good about establishing my Zoro, I believe. And so I'm thinking through, I'll hard play the Zoro, still have 1 up, And then Cavendish can also get me 2 more Dawn, which is great because then I'll still be able to activate the Kid ability and also have a Dawn up for the resting ability for Bonney Leader. And so now we're in a really great spot. So we have both Kid and Zoro on the board. My opponent already used Egghead Luffy. He could Ice Age and KO the Zoro. And then I just keep establishing bigger bodies as well. But I'm feeling good at this point. If he can't answer the Zoro this turn, and this turn only, I believe it might just be too much for my opponent to handle. So he rests 10 and plays the Kuzan, which I think is a really good play. And we were talking about this. That tech is really good against the green, the Bonney matchup, because now all of my top end is vulnerable to his Egghead Luffy. But we're going to attach 1 to Kid, swing at Leader for 9. I'm testing to see what he has, if he's going to take or not. Because we still do have 9 Dawn left with 3 swings from Zoro coming in. So, a lot of pressure to come in. And we'll see what he does. I believe he takes his first one. Yeah, at this point in the game, I'm just trying to either strip him of his cards or just aggressively go for game. So he does take this first one for 9. He triggers a Thunderbolt, killing the Bartolomeo, signaling to me I'm just going to go for game. So I attach the rest of the Dawn, leaving 3 up instead to swing with Zoro for, I believe, 15. He takes it. I tap 1 to restand him. He gets a Searcher event. Still have a lot of cards in hand, but we still have 2 more 15k swings in hand, which I don't think he's getting through even with that many cards in hand. So swing 15 again. He is giving me his whole hand, and it still wasn't enough for that second swing. So yeah, that was the Black-Yellow Luffy matchup. Kind of unfortunate. We were talking through, and he was mentioning he may have aggressively taken his life too early. And that might be true, because if he was playing the 10-drop Kuzan, he could just wait. We could both be at full life, and he could just establish that Kuzan, and then that starts to pressure me a lot more, right? Because then he can just start playing his Eggheads. He doesn't have to go for that normal black-yellow strat. And so, but again, it was pretty nice that I was able to search the pieces that I needed, and then I did mulligan to get the Zoro in hand. So that's the first matchup. All right, guys. So for the second match that we're going to be showing here, it's the match against Rob Luchi, the OP07 one. I decided to go first. I think I wanted to pressure with the 9-cost Zoro in hand, but that may have, in hindsight, I may want to go second, just so I can establish things like Basil on curve, which I think is much stronger within this matchup. And so, on my Dawn 3 turn, I just play a Bartolomeo and pass. His first turn, he had played the Spandam and searched, I think, a Tempest Kick. So he's swinging 5 at me. I decide to take it, and he mills 2 with his leader effects. And then now he's deciding what to do with his remaining 4 Dawn. Here, I think he does end up trying to KO my Bartolomeo. So he will rest 3 for... Oh no, he just plays the Brook and then passes because he doesn't want to commit more cost reduction at this point. So I do end up attaching 1 to Bonney, and I swing at leader. He'll take it, so he just goes down to 3. I rest another 3 to play another Bartolomeo, and now I'm leaving 1 up for the Bonney leader effect. And so pass it over to him. He's at a 6 Dawn turn now, and I established 2 blockers on the board, which in normally I would feel great about, but against Luchi, it is still quite vulnerable. And so we'll see what he does. I don't mind if he's expending certain resources to KO my early turn plays. It just means less resources for him to KO my later turn plays, right? And so we are playing this through. He's thinking about the best way to, I think, get rid of both the blockers and play around my leader effect. So he swings 7 at lead, reducing one of the Bartolomeos. I do choose to rest the Brook. And I believe that I chose to take it because I wanted to get more cards in hand. And so, yeah, he will do Rebecca. He grabs the Bartolomeo, and then he passes. And so I don't think he had enough to remove, nor I don't think he wanted to spend the resources to remove my blockers yet. But yeah, now we're able to establish the Basil. I still have 1 up for my leader effects. And I'll swing 5 at the Brook, I believe, and then he does choose to block with the Rebecca. And so we still have 1 up for the leader effects. We'll pass it over to him, who's on his 8th on turn. Yeah, in hindsight, again, I think I would choose to go second so that he doesn't get Gecko on curve. I'll have 1 more turn to establish my board before he plays the Gecko. But again, he swings 5. I do rest his Brook, and I block with my Basil. And he does play the Gecko and into the Helmeppo and Luchi to KO both my blockers. So he has a wide board at this point. I am down to just 1 Basil Hawkins, and we're both at 3 life. So we swing 5 into the Brook, and then we'll just hard play the Rorona Zoro. If this Zoro sticks, I'm in a fantastic spot. If it doesn't, he's expending quite a bit of resources to get rid of it. Yeah, he needs to get rid of the Zoro this turn, so I think he's really thinking about the best way to do that. My hope is that he is going to eventually run out of resources, and I'm able to just close up the game. So the scary part about this matchup is just how easily they can remove your board. But the good thing is, with Honey Jones, you can always kind of go for game, right? If you can establish, a few sticky characters like a 2 Basil Hawkins or like a 10-drop Dofi, you can be defensive enough to drag the game out and just go for game. And so that's kind of my strategy. I'm probably going to start ignoring board now and just start going into his life to try to close it out while putting out these bigger bodies, hoping that he can't deal with them or he's expending most of his resources to deal with them. And so he did cost reduce my Zoro by 1. He swung with leader, swung with Luchi. I blocked with Basil. He hard plays the Khalifa to cycle again, and then I think he's going to reduce my Luchi again by 2. And then he plays a Tempest Kick, reducing it down to below 5, and then he plays, I believe, the Finger Pistol, which will KO my Zoro. So, very good card. I actually do like that event just for the green matchup itself. It's a way you can't get rid of Basil Hawkins. But, yeah, so he got rid of Zoro. And so now he has an even wider board, and I still only have the Basil. So I'm in a little bit of a tight spot, but I'm at 10 Dawn now, and so I still have some plays that I can do. So I'm deciding what I want to be doing at this point. And I do have a lot of cards in hand still too. And so I'm cognizant of, I believe in deciding the play lines I want to do, whether I want to swing with the Basil at this point. But I think I need to chip him down a little bit more. And yeah, I do the baby 5 search. I take a 2K. I then swing 8 at leader with Basil Hawkins. And then I will play out another Basil Hawkins and then leave 1 up for my leader ability. And so at this point my camera stand had broken a little bit, so I had to remount it. Kind of unfortunate. I did end up showing him one of the cards in my hand by mistake, but that's okay. It happens in these webcam games. He does end up swinging 11, I believe, into Basil Hawkins. I will choose 1 to rest 1 to rest his character Luchi, and I need this Basil to live and stick. And so I do end up pitching the 0 cost event and a 2K for it. He will swing at the baby 5, and I'm down to 4 cards in hand, but I still have 2 life, so I'm feeling okay. He swings with his leader. At my lead, I choose to counter out of that attack, which in hindsight, I probably could have blocked with the second Basil Hawkins. But I didn't want him just to attach full on to both the Khalifa and Spandam and just go for it again and just reduce me down to like no cards in hit. And so, yeah, now he's thinking about what to do. He still has 8 Dawn left. And he decides he's going to rest 8 to play out, I think, another Moria, who's going to grab back, I believe, a Rebecca and another Spandam to search, and he will grab a 2K. So now I'm at the point where, and then he does choose to do the Spandam play and play out the Spandam. And then he will play out the, I believe, Khalifa again. Yeah, to cycle another 2 cards. So at this point, I know that I won't be able to just go for game with the units that I have in hands. He has way too many cards in hand, so I need to somehow pressure his hand and reduce his hand a little bit more. And so I'm in a tight spot. He does have so many characters on the board. But I'll rest 2 to do a Bonney search. Because when you just Bonney search whenever you are in a pinch. And so I'm thinking about what to take. I end up taking another Bonney. In which case I think I do another Bonney search. And I'll take the Bartolomeo. I'm just trying to wall up a little bit here and buy myself 1 more turn. And that way I can pressure his hand a little bit more. So I'm swinging 7 at lead. He ends up blocking with Rebecca. We'll swing 7 with Basil Hawkins. He ends up countering, and then we swing another 7 with my last Basil Hawkins. He'll take that 1. So now I feel I have 1 up left for the Bonney effect. I have a Barto blocker, which he'll have to commit some Dawn to KO, and then he'll have to commit more to go after my Basil Hawkins. And so I'm feeling kind of okay right now. He swings with Gecko, but then he decides actually not to. I let him take it back. And here I'm adjusting my camera again. It was like finicky. So rest 1 for Tempest Kick. Oh, and at this point, he did disconnect for a little bit. Alright, so he rested 1 for Tempest Kick. I don't think he reduced my Barto, by 3. He plays the Rebecca out, then the Spandine, into, I believe, a Luchi. We'll see here. Yeah, it's the Luchi, and he'll KO my Bonney and my Bartolomeo blocker. So he had already used 5 Dawn for that, and so now he's swinging 9 into Basil. I will choose to rest his other Basil and let that one go. Or rest his other Gecko and let that one go. He'll swing 5 into the other Bonney Searcher, so I can't just keep cycling that. Then he swings with his Luchi, and I'll take it. I'm down to 1 life. He has a full board. He plays a Sabo out. I'm in quite a bit of trouble. And I still don't think I have enough to get through his hand. And so what I do here is, I believe, I'm thinking through, I have to keep reducing his hands, and I do have the Hody Jones in hand, but I don't think I have enough to actually kill him with it. And so I have to kind of make a risky bluff play, and which I do, which is going to be dropping the 10 cost Dofi after I swing. So we're swinging 7 at the Luchi, I believe, and he'll choose to block and give me a 2K, which I'm very happy about. I swing 5 at lead, he'll block with Rebecca. I rest 10, and I lock his 2 Morias and character Luchi with Dofi. He does have 10 Dawn and 2 swings, which does make me vulnerable, but I have 4 cards in hand, which he doesn't know. And so I think he was doing the math and trying to think if he can go for game or not, and decided to play the safe route. So we'll skip through the thinking. Yeah, so he swung 6 with lead. I counter out of it, and then he swung 8 with Sabo to clear my Basil Hawkins. And then now he's resting 5 to play, or 4 to play out Rebecca, who's going to grab him back another 2K. And he rests 3 to play out the Barto blocker. So now he feels safe behind the 2 blockers, and he did grab another 2K from hand, but he's now down to 6 cards, and I am down to 3. I know I'm not going to survive another turn, so I play the Hody Jones, rest of 2 blockers, and decide to go swing 9 at leader first. He does counter out of that attack with a 0 cost event and I believe a 2K, leaving him down to just a few cards. Oh, the judge came in to let us know that we are almost out of time. And then I swung 7 with Bonney and then 10 with Dofi, and that was enough to get the game. So yeah, very long game, very well played by my opponents. Just happened to have the right cards to close it out though.